Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be trying to answer a question that I've been getting a lot lately. Will the launch of Bakkt futures later on this month kick off a new Bitcoin bear market? And guys, I'm not just pulling that question out of you-know-where. I'm not just making that up. I'm not trying to clickbait you. This is a genuine question that I've been getting a lot, and there's a very good reason for it. The last time that Bitcoin futures launched, do you know where they were? Guess where the last time Bitcoin futures launched the market was? Right there. Literally on the very same day that CME futures launched on December 18th, 2017. That was basically the exact day that the Bitcoin bear market started and the Bitcoin bull market ended. So there is reason to be concerned that Bitcoin futures launching might have negative impacts on the market. We're going to dive into why that might be in today's video. We're going to dive into whether or not CME futures actually started the Bitcoin bear market in 2018. And then we're going to try to come to a conclusion about whether or not Bakkt will do the same. So guys, I do think we have a great video lined up for you. I think you're going to get a whole lot of value. If you do, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel when you do that, and also you'll be getting access to daily cryptocurrency technical analysis and daily cryptocurrency news updates. And also, before we get into it, I want to mention that there is a special treat for you guys who stick around to the very end of the video. I'm going to be showing you something that I know you guys are going to love, so make sure you watch until the very end for that. Anyway guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. The first thing we need to talk about are CME futures, because that was the first time in history that Bitcoin futures actually launched. Like I said, CME futures launched on December 18th, 2017, basically at the very top of the Bitcoin bull market. And a big reason why proponents of the argument that futures cause bear markets would be that these futures contracts were one of the first ways that people could short Bitcoin. Now, I want to get this out of the way first and foremost. You could short on BitMEX before, but BitMEX was not as large of an exchange as it is now, and shorting became much more available, especially to more retail investors, on December 18th, 2017 when futures launched. Now, I'm not diving into what futures are in this video. I'm probably going to do a video on that in the future. Pun very much intended. Point is, when CME futures launched, the idea was that people could short Bitcoin, and that if they could short Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was already in this massive run-up and clearly getting overextended, then perhaps CME futures were the thing that pushed us over the edge into a new bear market after people were able to bet against the market. And indeed, this was the sentiment back then, guys. I remember back in 2017, about halfway through 2017 was when I got into the market. I remember all this news. I was here for this. This article was updated more recently, but seems to have been written back then. Bitcoin futures contracts are planned at CME Group, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CBOE Global Markets Inc., and NASDAQ Inc. That makes it much easier to bet against or short the cryptocurrency than it had ever been before at the time. And the reason that's important, guys, is because short sellers can cause a lot of bearish price action in the market. Shorting was not anywhere near as prevalent a year and a half ago as it is now. It just simply wasn't. So what I've seen a lot of people say is that when CME futures were going to launch, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CBOE, and the other groups involved in this were buying up a ton of Bitcoin, both over the counter and on exchange, getting ready for this launch so that they would have their own custody and their own Bitcoin that they could use. So what I've seen from proponents of this argument that CME futures caused a Bitcoin bear market would say, in the run up to $20,000, the market got overextended, partially because CME and CBOE and the other groups involved with this were buying up a bunch of Bitcoin in preparation for this launch. And then when the launch actually did happen, then all of a sudden, Bitcoin was much easier to short, and people shorted the absolute living daylights out of Bitcoin because they wanted to get as many gains as they could, and Bitcoin was very clearly overextended. So guys, that of course begs the question, now that we're seeing another futures market launch like Bakkt, especially considering, guys, that Bakkt is a physically backed, also pun intended, market, does that mean that Bakkt launching is also going to cause a crash in Bitcoin when we're already consolidating and we're already trying to blow off some bearish steam and allow ourselves to continue higher from here? Guys, to answer that question in one word, as far as I'm concerned, no. CME futures launching did not cause the 2018 bear market, and I don't think that Bakkt launching will cause another bear market starting now. That being said, when Bakkt does launch, whether or not Bitcoin is bullish or bearish is going to have a very big impact on that market. I'm talking about the couple of days leading up to Bakkt's launch on September 23rd. If Bitcoin is bearish when Bakkt launches, then we might turn a lot more bearish because of the exuberance that came from Bakkt launching. If we're bullish when Bakkt launches, then we may become even more bullish because of the exuberance from Bakkt launching. I think it's going to be a catalyst for whichever faction is in control of the market at that time, be it the bulls or the bears, when we have that launch on September 23rd. And guys, there is of course more news coming out with Bakkt all the time. Intercontinental Exchange releases the initial margin limits for Bakkt's coming futures trading. This is coming, and it's coming quickly. This is only 12 days away. The Intercontinental Exchange has announced tentative margin requirements for Bakkt Bitcoin futures trading contracts. The announcement appeared on ICE's official website on September 9th. Per the notice, the initial hedge requirements for daily and monthly futures contracts is $3,900, and the speculative initial requirement for both contracts is $4,290. I'm not going to dive into all of this and what all of this means. Essentially, what it means is that if you don't have a lot of money, you're probably not going to be trading on Bakkt. But that's not necessarily a good thing, guys, because one thing that is apparent in Bitcoin, but not a lot of people say it, but I'm going to say it because I like being honest with you guys, institutional investors might not be very bullish on Bitcoin right now. As we saw with Van Eck yesterday, in the first week of their little trust that they're calling like a backdoor Bitcoin ETF kind of thing, they only garnered $41,000 worth of investment for what essentially amounts to a qualified institutional buyer's Bitcoin ETF. They only garnered $41,000 in investment, which that's a pretty big and strong piece of evidence to me that institutional buyers are not very bullish on Bitcoin right now, and that the retail buyers, and especially people who were here in 2017, are the people that have been driving Bitcoin over the last 6 months. And what that means, guys, is if the initial hedge requirements for Bakkt are this high, then you're going to have more wealthy retail investors and especially institutional investors stepping into Bakkt. And if they can short on Bakkt, which they can, and they're not feeling very bullish on Bitcoin, maybe they're feeling that Bitcoin does need to come down to the 20 EMA, or maybe they're feeling that Bitcoin just isn't ready for a bull market, it is very possible that Bakkt launching could cause bearish price action. So guys, it almost feels like we're going in circles here. Will futures cause a bear market, or will futures not cause a bear market? Will futures cause a bull market? This is a question that is so prevalent in the space, and I want to answer it and cut through all the confusion really quick for you guys right now. Let's first start with CME futures and then move on to Bakkt and try to decide for Bakkt. If we look at CME futures launching in the past, the argument is CME futures launched on the very same day that Bitcoin's bear market started, December 18th, 2017. That argument by some people would also state that CME futures and the other groups involved bought up a bunch of Bitcoin on exchange and over the counter and allowed a lot of it to be shorted, which both caused the run up in 2017 and caused the dump in 2018. So let's address both of those positions one by one. First of all, CME launching on December 18th, 2017 was announced months ahead of time. We already knew back here that CME futures were going to be launching on around December the 18th, 2017. I don't remember exactly when that was announced. It was over 2 years ago at this point, but we pretty much knew when CME futures were going to be launched. And by that token also, guys, I would say that the writing was on the wall that a bear market was coming over a month before CME futures launched. It didn't just happen overnight. A Bitcoin bear market, in my opinion, it really started back over here with this pullback. This one right here. If you go back to the very first video that was ever uploaded on this channel, it was right here. It's called Is Bitcoin Overextended? And in that video, I was talking about how this market right here, it did not have a big enough pullback. What Bitcoin would typically do in 2017 is it would pull back below the 50 moving average, this one right here, get support on the 100, break bullish above the 50, pull back and get support on the 50, and go on a rally. That recurred 4 times. It happened right here, right here, right here, and right here. And in that very first video that's on this channel, if you look back there, Bitcoin only pulled back to the 50 simple moving average, not the 100. Instead of having a 40% correction by candle bodies, we only had a 22% correction. Typically, Bitcoin would get a 35 to 40% correction, as you can see right here. So Bitcoin had a major rally in the month of September and October, moving on into November, all the way up to $8,000, and we had a very small pullback. And with that very small pullback, instead of having a prolonged correction, we only had 4 days of bearishness, and Bitcoin rallied even higher. At this point, I was pretty confident, even having only been in the market for 3 or 4 months, that a bear market was coming and that Bitcoin was getting ridiculously overextended. And a lot of people shared that sentiment, guys. It was not an uncommon position that Bitcoin was getting overextended and that $20,000 was ridiculously high. For the entirety of 2017, people were expecting a $10,000 Bitcoin and then a bear market would come. And we blew right past 10K. We can even see in this article that was written back then, once those futures contracts are available, hedge funds and other big investors are ready to pounce. Why? Many financial investors say Bitcoin is the best shorting opportunity ever. And the reason they said that, guys, because Bitcoin ran 20x in the span of 2017. So the writing was already on the wall. The Bitcoin bear market was already coming. So CME futures launching really was not the thing that caused the Bitcoin bear market, in my opinion. That's like saying you've got an old rickety house that's 300 years old and it's just about to fall apart, and then some kid walks by and he throws a pebble at it and the whole thing falls down. It's not like the kid throwing the pebble was the thing that brought down the house. The house was already ready to collapse, and even though that kid throwing the pebble might have been the act that pushed that house over the edge, the house was about to come down anyway. So with all that said, let's talk about Bakkt. Will Bakkt cause a major crash in Bitcoin, and will it start a new bear market? And guys, since we've determined, or at least I've come to the conclusion, that CME futures were not the root cause of the Bitcoin bear market, will Bakkt do the same? And guys, like I said, that's really going to depend on what the technical landscape is when that launch happens. If Bitcoin is looking bullish, and we've broken bullish above this downtrend of resistance, yeah, Bakkt launching might be one of the most bullish events of this entire year and might catapult us even higher. Or if we're breaking bearish and Bitcoin looks like it's already wanting to go into a bear market or come down here to support around $8,000 to $9,000, then yeah, Bakkt launching and people being able to short on that market, that might exacerbate the crash that we're already seeing and push us down towards $6,000. You guys want to know what I think Bakkt launching is going to do? I don't think it's going to do anything, to be quite honest. I think all of the price action that was going to come from Bakkt has probably already come. We may see like a 5 to 10% jump because of Bakkt's launch on the day that it happens, but other than that, I don't actually expect a lot of short-term movement based on Bakkt. And you might be wondering, well, Jeb, if that's your position, then why do you make this video? I made this video because I've had this question at least 30 times over the last 2 weeks, and now you guys can come and reference this video so you have a better understanding of what's going on in relation to Bakkt. Guys, I might be wrong. Bakkt might be one of the biggest fundamental movers of this market for the entire year, but the way that I've seen fundamental news like this move markets does not lead me to believe that. For example, when the Litecoin halving happened, it happened right over here, and guess what? All the bullish price action happened all the way up to here, but the Litecoin halving happened somewhere over here. All the bullish price action was already factored in because of the whole buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing. If anything happens, I think Bakkt will have a neutral effect or just a very slight bullish or bearish effect on the market. And guys, to wrap it up, I do want to mention one thing, and that is that I think Bakkt is going to be one of the most bullish things that Bitcoin has ever received. We've never seen a physically backed cryptocurrency futures platform that is well regulated. I think there's a lot that can be built on top of it. In a video we're going to be doing soon, I'm going to talk about how a future Bitcoin ETF could be built on top of Bakkt futures and why we may never see a Bitcoin ETF until we're able to build an ETF on top of something like the Bakkt futures market. Bakkt is a big deal, guys, and even though it may not have a massive bullish impact on the market in the short term, I think in the long term, the bullish impacts and the ramifications thereof are going to be innumerable, they're going to be uncountable, and the number of people that are going to join the cryptocurrency space because they finally have a well-regulated platform like Bakkt that they can feel safe and comfortable trading on will have major impacts on the market for the coming years. So guys, tell me in the comment section down below what you thought of that analysis. Do you think CME futures caused the 2018 bear market? Do you think that Bakkt launching later on this month will cause a 2019 bear market? And also guys, while I'm asking you questions, why is the sky blue? Let's discuss that in the comment section down below. Anyway guys, to wrap the video up here, I am going to go ahead and mention the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Guys, subscribers of the channel probably know that we are currently running a sale on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. September 2019 is the coupon code down below. With that, you'll get $40 off at checkout, bringing the price of CT2A down from $199 to $159. The reason that's so significant, guys, is because not only is that a $40 off coupon, it's actually more like a $90 off coupon, because when this sale ends, guys, that price of the course is going to be rising from $199 to $249. So you're actually more like getting $90 off. Everything that is in this course, you get, and you get it for life. This is a lifetime membership. You get access to all current and all future content. I'm never going to charge you twice for the same content. I'm never going to charge you for new content in CT2A. There's a 14-day money-back refund guarantee if you start watching less than 30% of the course material, because I don't want you watching the entire course and then wanting your money back. That would be unfair to me. We have over 850 students in the course right now who are all loving it. You can go in the Discord server down below and ask them personally what they think of CT2A, whether or not they're getting value out of it and enjoying it. And guys, I'm one of the only people that will not only allow but also encourage potential customers of my academy to go and talk to my students, because I know what my students are going to say. They're going to say good things about the course because that's what they think. And I'm not just making that up. They tell me all the time. I see people talking about CT2A all the time. They're always giving positive testimony. So join us down below and see what actual students think. And also, guys, remember that we are in the middle of a revamp for CT2A. I'm going through and remaking every single video in the course. Today, moving averages is going to be updated. I recorded that video on Tuesday. It has now been edited and it is going live a little bit later on today. So if you're in CT2A, watch out for that. That video should be posted and uploaded before this day is over. Also, tomorrow, Fibonacci retracement will be going up, and then a new video also will be going up on Friday. So guys, if you want to join an ever-evolving academy where you can learn everything about cryptocurrency technical analysis from start to finish from the same teacher with the same teaching style, CT2A is the place to do it. It's the best value in this entire industry. You are going to be glad you did. The link and the coupon code are in the description down below. Anyway, guys, I did promise you a treat at the end of today's video, so I have to go ahead and give it to you. I have a friend now named Kevin who is in our Discord server, and you guys probably don't know this, but I enjoy singing. I actually really enjoy singing, but I'm not very good at it, and I was posting a video or two of me singing in the Discord server yesterday, and a fellow by the name of Jaco, who I now know is named Kevin in real life, was giving me some feedback. He told me about the Wim Hof breathing technique. If you guys don't know what that is, Google it. It's amazing, and it really helped out my singing, and it made me very, very happy. So I wanted to give back to him for what he did, because he's actually an up-and-coming singer and songwriter, and he is amazing. I'm going to go ahead and play a part of the song he sent me that he wrote and sang. This is absolutely incredible, guys, and I hope you do enjoy the rest. I'm going to show you this, and then the outro is going to roll, guys. So I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I just miss you like a river finding its lake. So prick me with your finger, as real as the truth. Baby, bring me back to you, girl, where I have some of you. Married me a dreamer, and the dreams through the roof. I just miss you like a river. Off in the distance, in the mountains it rains. I love in the stillness of life as it waits. You were always flowing and blood in my veins. I just miss you like a river winding its way. So prick me with your finger, as real as the truth. Baby, bring me back to you, girl, where I have some use. Married me a dreamer, and I'm dreaming of you. I just miss you like a river.